I'm really excited to do this video. It's the only way I can put it. So I talk about quite a lot that I have like when I can say it, three influencers that I follow religiously. And people always ask me who. And one of them in particular, no one's really heard of in my circle. But I really talk about these influencers a lot. They do lots of things that I'm influenced by. I disagree with them a lot of the time, which is why I also like them being an influencer. I don't agree with everything they say. I'd say I'd probably agree with 90% of everything they say. I don't agree with the 10%, which is also why I like them, because I don't live and breathe everything that they do, which I think is such a big. They are very different in what they do. So all of these are entrepreneurs, different things, all self-made people, and they're all different in their own way. And it is so important to me that I show that and point that out, because I like to think that's what makes me different. I'm self-made. I've not come from anything, QX Factor sob story, but I've not come from anything. I've never been given anything in my life, which is fine. I've got a very hardworking mum, a very hardworking dad. So that's why I really resonate with these influencers, instead of just thinking, oh, they've been on Love Island or something like that, and that's why they're my influencers. They're not. They are all different in their own right, and that's why I absolutely love them. Do I think it's important to have an influencer? Is such a big question. Yes, I do. And I'm going to say, don't get me wrong, I think there are some good ones. I obviously think there are some bad ones. It's up to you what they influence you for, but actually listen to that sentence. What do they influence you for? What do they influence you to do? How do they influence you? Are they just influencing you because they're rich? That's great, they're rich, but does your culture, your values, your ethics, just everything like that line up with them? And like I said, I don't 100% agree with the people I follow, which doesn't mean you have to either. You don't have to agree with them all the time. But you do have to, I'd say at least 75% of the time. You need to align with them at least 75, 80%. Otherwise, they're not really an influencer. You just follow them. If you don't agree with someone, or you don't like the way they are, or the way they, in my personal opinion, the way they act towards the world, life, business, relationships, anything like that, don't follow them. Don't be part of it. It's such a big thing. That's why these influencers, like I said, are so important to me and make such a big impact on what I do. And that's why I want to share them. There's three, and they're very different in everything that they do. So number one is a guy I've followed for a long, long time, Mr. Stephen Bartlett, the man himself, the newest dragon on Dragon's Den, owns, founder of Social Chain, worth millions, wrote a book, Happy Sexy Millionaire, and I've followed him for as long as I can kind of remember. I listened to his podcast, The Diary of a CEO, number one business podcast, first started when he says on his first few episodes, I'm recording this under a duvet with my headphones. He starts when he basically literally just goes through his diary on that in the first ones. It's a bit different now. I still love it. But I've followed him for so long, and I just think he's such an influential person to me. I think more because he's the first person I resonated to, because he came from a very working class family. Fair enough, his story is very different in relation to me, but I resonated with a lot of it, and it was such an important thing for me. His insight into life, just every way that he is, I think is really important to me. And yeah, I really am blowing smoke up the guy's ass, but I think he's really great. But I've got to admit, I do disagree with him on a few things. And I don't mind pointing out that one of the things I disagreed with him on is that he said networking doesn't work. And anyone that knows me, anyone that's going to ever be following any content that I make, knows I shit and breathe networking. Every aspect of it is very different, don't get me wrong. Networking will probably be very different as my business grows and my career grows. But it's such a big thing. And that's I'd say the first big thing I really didn't agree with him on at all. I just didn't. I really didn't resonate with it. And that's when I kind of realized, I was like, oh, actually, you are a really good influence for me, because I don't agree with that. And I really wanted to make sure that I stood by what I believed in, with, for example, just with that one thing, that networking is good, because networking is being so good for being business. And like I said, networking and things evolve as your business and you do, so the type of networking I'm probably doing now, let's say 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, 3 years, 5 years, will probably be very different as my business grows because you start networking in these circles that you need to, as your business evolves, you evolve through networking. But it'll still be a big part of my life. And that's the main thing I never agreed with him with. But other than that, he's been very influential to me and is the guy I've probably followed the longest. The next guy that they're all men, actually. Just realising that. Number two. Second guy that I follow is Mr. Ben Francis, founder of Gymshark, 1.4 billion pound company. As you know, he works with Gary V globally. He's massive. He's launched his office in Denver in America. You know, he's massive everywhere. From Birmingham, I'm from Hull. Birmingham is basically just as bad as known just to be as bad as like Hull, where I'm from. But he's such an amazing guy. And like once again, he's self-made. All of these people are self-made, and his drive and his passion and his care to detail of business. Like literally a week before recording this, they launched the barbershop pop up for a week in London in ties with Campaign Against Living Miserably, the charity for male mental health, as a barbershop, like a place to go to get your hair cut for men, but to open up and talk about the mental health. And you know, it's just awesome that he sticks to his roots. He knows what he's on about, and he really, really is big on it. Like he's huge on it, and he's such a cool guy. He's very new for me. I'd say he's only been an influencer for me maximum 12 months. Like not huge. I do like influencers that have a lot of video content. I prefer video content over books, blogs, even over podcasts, to be honest. But no, once I kind of fell into the ring of him and what he does and found out more about him and his journey, I just, yeah, I really resonated with him once again because once again, he's self-made, and that's a really big aspect for me. And he's also been on Stephen Bartlett's podcast, which, to be honest, I won't lie, I watched a video version of him on YouTube, and it was that video that made me go, oh, maybe I need to check this guy out. And I did. And that's when I really, really liked him. And he's just very open and honest and raw with the way his company is, the way he is, the ethics behind everything. Have I learned anything from him? At the moment, no. I wouldn't say I've learned anything from him. But if anything, I resonate a lot with his mindset, the way he looks at his business, the care and detail that he takes. And I really think it's a really important thing for people in business to have. Okay, so my third guy. This is the one where not many people have probably heard of him. In my inner circle, once again, he's an amazing guy called Eman Gadgey. And I have followed Eman for 4 years. 4 years, three, definitely three, probably 4 years. And Eman is, once again, as of recording this, a 21-year-old self-made millionaire that just YouTube him. Don't Google him. Just search on YouTube. Go to his channel. He does his intro quite a lot of what he does. He built an education company. You know, he runs social media marketing agencies. He's launched his own NFT project. I like Eman. Do I agree with Eman a lot of the time? No. In a business way, yes. I agree with him in business. I'd say probably 99.9% of the time. And I've learned a lot from him. You know, I'm 26. He's 21. I've learned a lot from him, a real lot. And I've implemented a lot of the things he talks about into my own business. Don't mind sharing that. I've shared a lot of the things he shared with my clients. I talk about him all the time. I use his websites and his funnels, his landing pages as case studies for clients to go and look at, for examples of a very good one. You know, I talk about Eman loads. He's a really clued up guy. What would I say I disagree with him about? Sometimes his personal views, that's fine. Everyone's different. Does that mean I dislike him as a person? No. I actually probably respect him and appreciate him more that he speaks his mind, because I'm known to speak my mind. I speak mind about everything. I would say I'm very politely blunt until I don't need to be polite about it. But I really respect Eman, and I really, really talk about him a lot, and I would expect everyone to go and check him out. And once again, he's really self-made. Watch one of his videos. There is a video on there about how he made something like 24 million by the age of 21. Go on to that. He talks about his backstory, you know, and he's self-made once again. And he is such an amazing guy with everything he's achieved and what he's done. His love for his mum, he's moved to Dubai, his views on living in the UK and all these different things. Originally from Russia, got brought up here. Honestly, this guy is, yeah, I am blowing smoke up his ass. Don't get me wrong, it's not one of them where I'd like to go get his autograph. I'd like to meet the guy for a pint, actually. It's probably one of the biggest things, or should I say, a cigar and a good glass of whiskey or something. But I'd be I've followed eman for a long time, and I'd say out of the three, he's probably my main person that influences me because I learn a lot from him. I watch his YouTube for fun. I watch his videos for fun. Um, yeah, pretty awesome guy, if I'm really, really honest. Okay, number four, and I say three, but I've got a sub influencer, which is Mr. Ali Abdal. And he is he an influencer? He doesn't really influence me as much, but I really enjoy his content in his videos and I watch a lot of them. And I'd say this is why he's more of a sub influencer. He influences my business more than me as a person. I look at a lot of the things he does, a lot of his productivity hacks, his views on things, his opinions, his interviews of other people. He has a wealth of knowledge that I really, really appreciate. And that's why when I came across Ali, once again, I'd say from Stephen Bartlett's Diary of a CEO. Um, he's a really amazing guy. And what I like is very raw and honest. And that's what I like. I like raw and honest. Um, the one thing I don't know is if he is self-made. I do believe he is. He went to university to study to be a doctor. He's now not a doctor anymore because he focuses purely on his main businesses. Um, but no, I've got a lot of respect for the guy, if I'm really honest. But like I said, he doesn't really influence me in life as such yet. As there's more content, I go through more of his content. He may, but he represents a certain aspect of influence in my business on the things that he does, and that's why I really like Ali as well. Thank you for watching that video. I'm glad you enjoyed it. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and check out the next video right here.